Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Low Country News. I'm Daniela Morales.
And I'm Malcolm McGill.
Today is August 14th, 2026, and we are thrilled beyond belief for this opportunity.
We are covering for Warren, Monica, Ito, and Atticus as they are away on vacation, so let's get right to it. Up next, local news.
Murdaugh is expected back in a Lexington County courtroom for a pretrial conference hearing. The former lawyer is accused of murdering his wife Maggie and youngest son Paul at their Colleton County property in June of 2021.
He was previously convicted on those double murder charges, but that ruling was overturned by the South Carolina Supreme Court. Now, the venue for a murder retrial is a major point of contention. Murdaugh's defense team wants to move the trial here to Charleston. The trial cannot be held anywhere in the 14th Judicial Circuit, with all parties agreeing that the Murdaugh family's legal influence in that area would prevent a fair jury. Murdaugh's team believes Charleston is a suitable location, but the state is objecting, citing Charleston's proximity to Colleton, traffic and parking issues downtown, and the high cost of hotels in this area. Venue and several other issues related to the upcoming retrial are expected to be discussed this morning at 10. You can count on 2 for coverage.
This is an extremely interesting case. I'm looking forward to the truth coming out. Let's continue the footage.
All right, Dave, thank you. Well, imagine riding a school bus in this heat with no AC. That is the reality for some districts, students in 3 districts, including Charleston County. CCSD is blaming some of the state-owned buses it uses. News 4's Jane Caroline Fusco talked with one mom who says the first week of school has been a rough one for her kids.
Ashley, a lot of people are complaining about this heat, so it's easy to picture students getting off of the bus covered in sweat after just a 30-minute ride. Parents say putting the windows down isn't helping the situation, and some of their kids are beyond upset.
The second day of school, my kids got off the bus crying, bawling, because they don't want to ride the bus in the afternoon anymore.
Heather Ritson says it started on the very first day. Her kids got off their Charleston County school bus sweaty and red-faced. By the next day, she says they didn't want to do it again.
They literally had sweat dripping down their faces, and their faces were beet red. And it wasn't just my kids, it was every kid that was stepping off the bus looked the exact same way.
And their ride is only about 30 minutes. Ritson says her kids are dropped off around the middle of the route, meaning other students are on that bus even longer.
And when there's no air circulation or anything like that, it's literally a sauna that they're sitting on.
In an email to parents, CCSD says some of its state-owned buses are experiencing AC problems. District officials say the state owns and services those buses, and under long-standing state policy, CCSD and a private transportation company it contracts with, First Student, have not been allowed to diagnose or repair them. But that changed yesterday after conversations between CCSD Superintendent Anita Huggins and State Superintendent Ellen Weaver. The state gave First Student permission to work on the AC systems. Repairs started this morning and will continue through the weekend. We also reached out to the state with several questions but did not hear back from them. In the meantime, CCSD is telling drivers to keep the windows down when they can.
I do appreciate her really advocating for our kids in that aspect and finding a solution now versus a month from now after it cools down.
I asked the district how many buses were impacted, but did not get an answer back. And this isn't just a Charleston County problem. I reached out to Dorchester District 2, and they told me that 6 of their 160 buses are getting their ACs repaired right now. In the meantime, they're putting those buses on the shortest route, rolling the windows down, and providing water to all students. Working for you, Jane Caroline Fusco, News 4.
Well, we also asked Berkeley County Schools how many buses they need repairs for in terms of the AC, if anything, and what the district is doing about it. The district has not provided that information. Meantime, with many of these issues centered on state-owned buses, we texted, emailed, and called leaders with the South Carolina Department of Education today to ask what they're doing to make sure the AC is working on its statewide fleet. They have not responded to our messages.
All right, I hope everyone stays cool in the Low Country in this extreme heat. Let's move ahead. Up next, worldwide news.
Good evening. I'm Wade Johnson in for David tonight. We begin with breaking news. The dramatic turn in a case closely watched across America. Luigi Mangione pleading guilty to federal charges in the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. For the first time, Mangione face to face with the victim's family as he changed his plea, now pleading guilty, describing how he targeted him, telling the judge, quote, "I shot Mr. Thompson and he died." Mangione explaining how he stalked his victim, tricked the company into revealing his location, then shooting Thompson outside a hotel in Midtown Manhattan. The start of his state murder trial just 3 weeks away. His defense team now moving to have that case dismissed, arguing double jeopardy. ABC's chief investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky leads us off.
The family of United Healthcare chief Brian Thompson whisked into Manhattan federal court, coming face to face for the first time with the man who now admits to killing him in cold blood. Luigi Mangione pleading guilty to stalking the husband and father before opening fire on a sidewalk. On the morning of December 4th, 2024, I shot Mr. Thompson in Manhattan and he died, Mangione said without emotion or contrition. I knew what I was doing was illegal. Thompson's widow seated just feet away, sobbing as Mangione revealed how he hunted her husband. I learned that United Healthcare would be holding its annual investor conference in New York City. And for the first time, the Ivy League grad claiming he tricked the company into sharing the exact location by emailing them, posing as an investor with more than $50 billion in capital. He said, I used a 3D printer to make part of a gun, and I equipped the gun with the silencer and magazine. Police found those items in Mangione's backpack. Today, he claimed he acted after years of enduring severe pain from a broken back, navigating the obstacles of the health insurance system, and witnessing similar experiences of countless others. Before the murder, Mangione had complained on social media about his back pain and posted this spine x-ray.
He believed that the system had failed him and destroyed his life.
Police found this notebook with provocative writings. Frankly, one entry said, these parasites simply had it coming.
Completely out of touch.
To some, Mangione became a folk hero. The face of their cause. But today, fewer supporters showed up, a few sobbing in the hallway. Still, as the Thompson family was rushed from the courthouse to a waiting car, they were subjected to this.
America loves Luigi.
Chants of America loves Luigi.
To those who idolize Luigi Mangione, I say this. Violence is not a cause, murder is not a message, and a killer is certainly not a hero.
No grievance, political belief, or ideological cause can ever justify murder. There can be no celebrity in assassination.
Thompson's family sharing these photos of him through the years and saying in a statement, today's guilty plea marks an important step toward justice for Brian and for our family.
Brian was taken away in the most heinous way possible. They lost a son, a brother, a husband, and a father, and a friend.
Mangione's guilty plea here today at federal court. Wit comes just weeks before the start of his state murder trial. His attorneys are already asking a court to dismiss it, saying a second prosecution would amount to double jeopardy. Wit.
And Aaron, Mangione pleaded not guilty in both cases all along. So what's the legal strategy behind this U-turn today?
This may be his shot, Wit, to convince the federal judge to give him something other than life in prison when he's sentenced in December. Whatever time he ends up serving, Mangione is also signaling his preference to serve it in a federal, not a state prison that could be more crowded and more violent. Wit.
All right, Aaron Katersky with those major developments. Thank you. Also breaking tonight, dangerous flood evacuations underway in the Midwest at this hour. Storms slamming the region for a sixth night in a row. Indiana still under a state of emergency. ABC's Alex Perez in Indiana tonight.
Tonight, new evacuation orders in parts of the Midwest as storms slammed the region for the sixth night in a row.
We are back in the houses. It is chest-deep water.
Outside Cincinnati, families in Harrison, Ohio, told to leave areas near the Whitewater River. First responders searching neighborhoods. All of Indiana under a state of emergency.
We've lived here over 45 years and we've never seen anything like this ever.
In Anderson, we met Joan Reed as she still can't get to her rental property. It's underwater. Her son Elliot has been kayaking down the street to check on it and work on getting some of that water out.
The water is halfway up the garage door. I'm sure everything in there is going to be ruined.
As efforts to restore power to more than 170,000 homes and businesses continue, today the National Weather Service confirmed a 6th tornado from Tuesday's outbreak.
And Whit, back here in Anderson, Indiana, this area is still completely underwater. Some parts of the Midwest got more than a foot of rain this week, and unfortunately, many areas are bracing for even more as we head into the weekend. Whit.
Yeah, really a difficult time there. Alex Perez, we appreciate it. The U.S. Army ordering a temporary stand down of all Apache helicopter training flights following this week's deadly crash in Texas. 2 pilots killed when their chopper went down during a maintenance test flight near Fort Hood. Let's get right to ABC's Jay O'Brien. And Jay, what more are you learning?
That's right. What we've learned tonight, the Army has ordered a temporary grounding of all Apache helicopter training flights after that fatal crash this Wednesday near Fort Hood, Texas. That attack helicopter going down in a field, bursting into flames that ignited a grass fire. Tonight, the Pentagon identifying the 2 service members killed in that crash as Chief Warrant Officer DeAndre Huey and Warrant Officer Seth Olmstead. Apache helicopters have a higher rate of incidents compared to other aircraft, but it's unclear exactly what caused this week's crash. And the Army saying tonight its Apache training flights will remain grounded until it has a better sense of exactly what went wrong here. Whit.
Okay, Jay O'Brien, thank you very much. Next tonight, a quick-thinking air traffic controller credited with averting catastrophe, alerting pilots after noticing a rare problem involving 2 American Airlines jets, both with the same flight number. Here's ABC's Matt Rivers.
Tonight, a potential mid-air catastrophe averted, thanks to a quick-thinking air traffic controller.
It could have been disastrous.
2 packed American Airlines 737 jets over Phoenix last night, both with the same exact flight number, causing confusion in the tower as radar shows the planes headed in the same direction. One was flying into Phoenix while the other had just taken off. Listen to the controller alerting the pilots of the identical call sign.
I need you to maintain 900,000, traffic 1 o'clock and 10 miles. Is your company same call sign out of 1,800 descending to 10,000?
Moments later, the planes crossing paths without incident, maintaining their required distance.
I've been working air traffic for 25 years. I've never seen 2 aircraft pretty much merge with the same call sign. That's pretty incredible.
One of the pilots praising the controller.
Yeah, we're going to say good job. I've been flying a lot less than that. I've never seen that either, so nice work.
With both planes continued on safely, but officials say this should not have happened. American says it's reviewing the incident. The FAA also investigating.
All right, Matt Rivers, our thanks to you tonight. To Washington now, and President Trump filing an emergency appeal with the Supreme Court to resume construction on his $400 million White House ballroom. After nearly a year of work, the White House claiming the project is too far along to be stopped. ABC's Mary Bruce at the White House tonight.
Tonight, a new look at President Trump's plans for his lavish new ballroom, adorned with gold and marble, as he takes his fight to complete it to the Supreme Court. The White House asking the justices to allow construction to continue, arguing the project is beyond the point of no return.
It's going to be one of the most beautiful buildings that's ever been built in the country or in Washington, D.C.
A district court ruled most above-ground construction must stop next week unless the president gains congressional approval. But the White House argues the president doesn't need their permission and says halting the project threatens the security and safety of the president, citing, quote, recurrent assassination attempts. The president deeply involved. New renderings showing the massive 90,000 square foot project adorned with Corinthian columns and a new detail, gold presidential seals. Inside, yellow marble floors and more gold finishes. The president has said his design was inspired by the halls of Versailles. In a statement, the White House saying thanks to the builder-in-chief, the White House will be properly glorified. And Whit, in response to the filing, the National Trust for Historic Preservation says the White House is, quote, actively attempting to outrun the courts by ramping up construction to try and finish this project before President Trump leaves office. Whit.
And Mary, while I have you, President Trump also making news on the war in Iran with a bold declaration about the Strait of Hormuz and commenting on reports about poor conditions on board the USS Lincoln.
Yeah, Whit, the president says that the Strait of Hormuz will soon be declared a U.S. territory, though it's not exactly clear what that means. Iran responding tonight saying, quote, the Strait of Hormuz cannot be seized by tweet. As for the USS Lincoln, which has now been at sea for over 250 days, the president claims that families of service members are not concerned, and he says the vessel hasn't been deployed for, quote, nearly long enough.
Okay, Mary Bruce at the White House tonight.
I pray the situation is resolved soon. Gas is so high that it is ridiculous, and I know so many people struggling right now. America needs help now. Let's continue the footage.
A judge in South Carolina is granting a change of venue for the new murder trial of disgraced attorney Alec Murdaugh. His conviction for the murders of his wife and son overturned after the court clerk admitted to jury tampering. The judge ruling the retrial cannot be held in the same county. A new location has not yet been announced. The judge also ruled Murdaugh's testimony from the original trial will be allowed at his retrial set for April.
All right, everyone. Today we have isolated showers and Saturday partly cloudy with a high of 90 and Sunday finishing up with scattered storms with a high of 89. And we'll see those chances return on Monday and Tuesday. And that's your 5-day forecast. Up next, additional weather.
Weather alert day declared by Storm Team 2. Now, Brant, you offered some perspective. You said that the low country's weather, we actually have the feels like temperature, the hottest in the nation?
Yes, here in the Empire Coast Savannah, also sharing in our heat as well.
The trophy. You have the trophy for
we
that.
can share the trophy for that. I don't think anyone.
We don't want that trophy.
No, we don't. And we're gonna be reigning champions through early next week. Unfortunately, it's hot out there, and I don't care who you are. This is hot. Yesterday, high temperature 99 degrees, record high of 100 back in 1995. So we almost broke a record from several decades ago. All right, so we're there. We are at the hot. The dog days of summer and then some. It's quite hot out there. Average high temperature for this time of year is about 90, so upper 80s, lower 90s. Now we're going to be hitting those mid 90s today, but the heat index 110, 115, I think is going to be easy stuff. We're going to easily reach that today. Lots of shower and thunderstorm activity, high pressure in control here. And the thunderstorms are kind of circling around that area of high pressure. So you think of high pressure as a big heat dome, right? We say heat dome a lot in meteorology, but in reality, it's sinking air. It's air that is constantly sinking. And you get the heat, you get the moisture, and if you can get enough heat, rising motion, just from the heat alone, you can get, the water starts to boil a little bit, even with that high pressure in place. And if you can get a thunderstorm in these conditions, all right, there's a lot of heat, a lot of moisture, big heat, big thunderstorms, lots of lightning, heavy rain, even some small hail, gusty winds. We all had that yesterday. We saw that yesterday with those thunderstorms. I think that'll be the same thing today. So a few of us will get some strong storms today. Heat index of 114, National Weather Service indicating could be higher than that as we get towards this afternoon. So next 8 hours, checking out those mid to upper 90s as we head towards this afternoon. Isolated severe storms being possible, not only today, but through this weekend. Yes, Storm Prediction Center not really highlighting our area because it's going to be so discrete and so isolated. But if we get a thunderstorm, it's going to be on the stronger side. Look how long that lasts. Maybe a couple hours during the heat of the day, and then as we go into the overnight, looks pretty good. Same thing with Saturday. Isolated showers and thunderstorms kind of perpetuating itself with that heat, and then it starts to fizzle out by the time we get to the 7 o'clock hour. Here's what we have as far as the 5-day forecast is concerned. Well, how about we do Sunday instead? There you go. There's a few isolated thunderstorms here or there. Okay, here we go. Now we're doing the 5-day forecast. Going to be bringing in the heat here. Mid to upper 90s, some upper 90s, maybe even 100 degrees for early next week. That is exceptional heat. We don't say that unless we mean it. It is going to be record-breaking heat potentially Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Those upper 90s being possible there. Islands and beaches forecast 93 degrees for Monday and Tuesday of next week. That is downright hot.
As you just heard from Brad, we are expecting to see extreme heat across the Lowcountry this weekend.
And because of that heat, the Charleston Animal Society is issuing a heat alert for all companion and working animals. Now, if you own working animals such as horses, mules, livestock, and service animals, you're asked to limit their work today and make sure they have fresh water and plenty of time to rest in the shade. If you have pets, limit their time outside today. Check any surfaces outside before your pet walks on them. Asphalt can get extremely hot and burn their paws. If you can't keep the back of your hand on the asphalt for more than around 3 seconds, it's just too hot for your pet. Charleston Animal Society says, just like people, animals are at risk for heat-related stress.
So what we're asking the public to do is, if you have animals, whether they're companion animals or working animals, do what we're doing. Restrict their activities, because they are just as susceptible to conditions such as heat stroke and heat exhaustion as we are as people.
Charleston Animal Society also says today is not a good day to take your pets to the beach or pool because they can still overheat even while swimming.
Let's get right to ABC meteorologist Leslie Lopez. And Leslie, a variety of threats heading into the weekend.
Well, that's right. Flash flood watches and flood watches remain in effect in some of these hard-hit regions of the Midwest, anywhere from Iowa all the way out to West Virginia. The ground is so saturated that any heavy downpours could lead to additional rounds of heavy rain and life-threatening flash flooding into the weekend. On top of severe storms, that means on Saturday, this could also extend into Indiana, Ohio, and back to the Carolinas. Damaging wind will be the main threat there, along with heavy rain. And off to the Pacific, Tropical Storm Lala in the Pacific is barreling towards Hawaii tonight. On the forecast track, it could become a Category 1 hurricane by Saturday morning as it approaches the Big Island. A hurricane warning is in effect. And hurricane force gusts, dangerous surf are the biggest threat, along with 2 feet of rainfall right through the weekend.
And we know you'll be tracking it all. And tonight, as Leslie mentioned, we're tracking the hurricane warning in Hawaii. Tropical Storm Lala gaining strength as it closes in on the Big Island. Winds up to 60 miles per hour. ABC's Melissa Don is in Hawaii with the images coming in. Melissa, good evening.
Hey there, Whit. So Lala could be the first ever hurricane to make a direct hit on the Big Island of Hawaii. And already residents here are stocking up. We're seeing them getting generators to bottled water. We see it flying off the shelves. They're also filling up sandbags to protect from flooding. Now swells ahead of the storm already have lifeguards busy. They made over 100 rescues yesterday. And Lala is expected to bring up to 15-foot waves in some spots. Now there's also the question of Kilauea, the massive volcano erupting here. Some studies suggest volcanic gases can make storms produce more lightning. But when we're talking about more than 2 feet of rain falling on these massive volcanoes and mountains, the biggest threat will be mudslides. Whit.
Yes, a major concern. Melissa Don for us tonight.
Reporting live from the College of Charleston Arena. I remember watching the games here as an undergrad. Up next, sports.
Low Country Sports News Alert.
Here in Beaufort County, Whale Branch High School, it is the start of a new era, but one that directly ties them to their past. Dee Delaney takes over at Whale Branch, head coach of the Warriors, and you got to remember how good Dee Delaney was here, and then in college at the Citadel, at Miami, and then in the NFL. Really an amazing thing for them to have somebody of that stature coaching a pretty small school in Beaufort County.
I seen the demand for coaches in the area. Then I love the community. I love the kids. I know how to I know how to get in touch with them, get in tune with them, know what they're doing. So I wanted to just be a part with the kids.
You miss playing at all or not?
Every day. That's all I think about. I miss it every day.
You think you still could play, or
I know I still could play. I still work out and stuff, so I know I still can go.
The small school, you know, not the biggest team, but that was kind of you. I mean, that was you as a player. I mean, how much do you kind of adapt to that as, you know, all right, we are the small guy.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just like you said, I'm a walking proof to show them that even though you come from a small school, you still can make it. It just, what kind of work are you going to put in to make it to the next level? That's what it's all about. Are you willing to put the work in?
You tell them that you intercepted Jalen Hurts 3 years ago?
I don't gotta tell them that. They send me videos and stuff like that all the time.
About Hilton Head Prep at Colleton Prep tonight. Great crowd out in Walterboro. Everyone just desperate for some football. Colleton Prep making it all the way to the state finals last year. First quarter action. Quarterback Cale Owens keeps it. Goes right up the middle for the score. Colleton Prep looks really solid then. Let's go for two. Little slant to Charlie Walker, and he hauls it in for the Warhawks. As good as the offense is, defense equally dominant. Dallas Poozer, tackle for loss, keeping Hilton Head Prep backed up all night. Then it is the screen pass to Perry Corbett, and Corbett does the rest. 43 yards to the house, and Colleton Prep wins easily. 50-6, the final score. Good evening, I'm Scott Iceberg. Charleston County canceled, so did Dorchester County. Moncks Corner Lions Club, the last jamboree to hold out hope. It wasn't the heat that got them, it was the lightning up in Berkeley County. The sky lighting up tonight. Games never get underway at Bonner Stadium, but just another bonding moment, another thing to draw teams a bit closer in what's been a very herky-jerky camp with weather and heat. Regardless, it is a dream job at his alma mater for first-year Timberland coach Brooks Burnett. We caught up with him tonight.
It means a lot to be the head coach at Timberland because I was a player there. My dad was a coach at the former school Macedonia that became Timberland, and it's good to get back with the kids. And blood, sweat, and tears on that field, and they're doing the same things, and they're doing a great job, representing the school, and it means something to me to have success at Timberland.
Skeeza with 3 games on the docket tonight. Regular season matchups. The Pinewood Prep Panthers expect to win this point. Back-to-back titles will do that.
All right, everyone. For Low Country News, I'm Daniela Morales.
And I'm Malcolm McGills. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to True Perspective 843. Good night, everyone. Stay safe and see you Sunday.